Elliston Berry and Anna McAdams. Thank you so much and welcome to Ion Politics.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
You bet. So, what a week for you. You were at the White House earlier this week when President Trump signed into law the Take It Down Act, which you both inspired, really. So, Elliston, why don't you tell me what was that like for you to be there when the president signed this bill into law?
I mean, it was truly a crazy experience. I mean, when this first situation happened, the last thing I wanted to do was go on any sort of television or anything. So, being able to stand up there with the president and the first lady, have them sign this bill that really is protecting people was so rewarding, especially because my mom and I, we spent the last year and a half fighting and getting in contact with people in order to have some sort of security and protection implemented. So being in person, being invited to a signing, a ceremony just like that it was such a rewarding experience.
Anna, what was it like for you?
Very surreal. It was just a full circle moment for both of us, I think, and just realizing that our voices were heard and now we have protections in place. And we never believed that that could really happen. And then here we are. And it was bigger than we ever imagined it to be. I mean, we felt so blessed to be there with the president and the first lady.
And before I ask you really to take us back and what really led to this, did the president and first lady have anything to say to you, off camera, about this law and experience?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Not only at the ceremony, I didn't get any alone time, I guess, with the president and the first lady, but I was able to meet and talk to this first lady back in March at the roundtable event as well as the State of the Union. So being there with her, it was really an amazing experience. She was so sweet to me and so nice, especially because she treated me like I was a real human, not that I was just a victim, which I feel as I encountered a lot of events and situations, people looked at me as a victim. And they looked at me, and in my head, I feel like all they saw was my images or the fact that, deepfake images were made of me. But she's very down to earth and she's very sweet, and she encouraged me and she supported me and made it known to me that my bravery was heard and that justice is going to be served.
So Anna, any takeaways from you with your conversations with the First Lady and the President?
Yes, we had a lot more time with them, with her at the State of the Union, and so she spent a lot of time just finding out who we were and what happened, and she just fell in love with our story. It fits right in with her Be Best initiative that she started in her first term. So this just falls right under her heart for kids, for any protection in schools and churches and homes. It's all about protecting the kids.
Right, because both of you were in the First Lady's box during the State of the Union?
Elliston
was.
Yeah, we were
was.
there, but
Yeah.
we were. She was in there with the rest of other victims that they were honoring that night.
And what was that like?
I mean, it was truly a surreal experience. Being invited to the State of the Union, let alone being in the box with the First Lady sitting right next to her, it was amazing. I never would have thought that just a normal teenager from Texas, I never would have thought that that's something I could ever accomplish or ever see myself doing. So being there with her really validated my feelings, and it really showed me how far just a normal person's voice can go.
And so let's go back to the experience that really made all this happen, that led to this. You woke up one morning and then I believe your phone started blowing up about what was going on. So take me from there.
Well, when I was a freshman in high school, an October morning I woke up to messages from one of my friends telling me that there were these images of her and I going around. So she had sent me a text message with a collage of photos, an edited photo of her, and then the original photo of her, and then the edited photo of me, and then the original photo of me. So she made this collage in order to prove to others that, hey, these photos aren't real. And
They were depictions of you being nude.
yes, it was these AI photos of her and I nude that were getting sent around, and these photos, they looked extremely realistic. I mean, it was our Instagram photo and then with a nude body over it, made with AI. So it looked completely real, and to a person that doesn't know me, or someone that's not familiar with my social media, or a predator, let's say, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference whether it was real or not. So it was really heartbreaking, and it was really scary, and I didn't want to tell my mom. My mom and my parents have always taught me not to send out news, because once something's on the internet, it stays on the internet. So the fact that these were fake, and I still know that if something's on the internet, they stay on the internet. So I didn't even get to pick my fate. They were on there. I was exposed to my entire school. So I had to go to school that morning. It was a Monday morning, and I had to go to volleyball, and I had to go to practice, and I was terrified. And I immediately went to tell my mom, even though I didn't want to. I was ashamed, embarrassed, and I didn't want her to think that they were real. So
Did a lot of the other students make fun of you? Did they, kid you? Did they mock you? And what was going on in your mind? You said you were terrified, but what does that mean?
Well, a lot of kids didn't really come talk to me about it. I mean, I'm very strong in my faith, so if my friend group and the people around me kind of were able to click and say, that's her Instagram photo and that's not real, but a lot of kids that don't know me, that may have seen them, never talked to me about it. I mean, it's kind of unfamiliar to approach someone you don't really know and accuse them of this photo. So thankfully, no one that I wasn't really close with approached me about this situation, which really made me feel better. But when I was terrified. I mean, I don't want people to think that's my character, and it was really scary going to school because I know the account that had sent the images. So the account had a very nasty name and then my school name. So I knew that the student went to my high school. So I knew that somewhere in this building of 2,400 students was the student that made this photo. So I really was vulnerable, and it put me in a weird position because I felt so isolated, and I didn't even know how to approach school, knowing that I was so vulnerable online.
And what was that like for you, Anna, knowing that this was going on? Your daughter was impacted by this, and I mean, I would have to imagine a lot of tears shed.
Yes, a lot. We were horrified. As a parent, you want to plan and you think you can protect your child and nothing's going to happen because I'm going to be right there, and you anticipate that kind of thing. But with this, we never saw it coming, so we did not know what to do with it. And so when I took her to school that day, I just went straight to the office and met the moms of the other two girls that had happened to. And, we went in saying, you've got to do something about it. And the school didn't know what to do either. I mean, what do we do with AI in this capacity? So everyone was just kind of scratching their head going, where do we go from here?
And so from there, you started reaching out to different lawmakers. I mean, how did this process get started?
Not at first. I mean,
Okay.
I thought, well, we've got to go through the school. We need to go through our local, local law enforcement. So I started there. So the parents started talking. By the second day, by Tuesday, there were 6 more girls. So there was 9 total that this kid had targeted. And so, we knew that we had to get him to stop because he continued to do it that whole week. And so we're doing our research as parents, and we're going to the school, and we're going, it could be this kid, it could be this kid, please look into him. And they were kind of, at first, they kind of tried to tell us, well, you're just blowing it up. You're overreacting to this situation. And then we're going, no, this is the fate of our daughters here, and we need your help. And so they started an investigation. We asked them to do a Title IX. So because once they found out who the kid was, they couldn't tell us who it was, because he's a minor. And so they really kind of went behind him and kind of said, well, we have to kind of protect him. And so we're, as parents, going, what about our daughters? Our daughters deserve, to be protected and to feel safe, and they did not. So it was really, really hard. And so they ended up catching him because he went onto the school Wi-Fi and started sending out pictures. And so the tech team, because we had given his name to them, they were kind of watching accounts, and they were able to catch him.
And he was doing this during school.
Yes.
And that's how they caught him.
Mm-hmm. That's how they caught him.
And did he ever apologize?
No.
And was he punished?
Not the way we wanted him to be. So they did put him in in-school suspension, but what was so hard is they would tell us he's coming back, but we don't know when. So it was a horrible semester her waking up every day going, Mom, am I going to have to see him today? I don't know if I want to go to school. I'm scared. So in the process of that week until they found him, he had also gone on, and when people would ask him why you're doing this, he would say stuff like, I want to go out with a bang. I want to ruin the girls. So then we've got another layer of fear going on. Could he hurt us? Could he really come to school with a bomb or a gun? So we were trying to get the school to take that serious too, and we just could never get anywhere with that. So it was the school board in November of that year of 2023 that I went and spoke, and I just said, please, we want this boy expelled. And this is how you could do it. And I went through the student code of conduct. They could have done it, and they refused to talk to me. So from there, I continued to try to get them to say something, do something, and I just couldn't. And so at that point was when I was like, you know what? If I can't get the local level to listen to me, I'm going to see if I can get somebody up above. So I started calling anybody and everybody that I could think of to leave messages with, like our local Senator Phil King, left messages with his office, Cruz's office in D.C., here in the state. I just called anybody that I could think of that would want to listen to our story.
And so Senator Cruz, I take it, was the first person to respond?
Well, Senator King's office actually responded first. But in Texas, we only meet every 2 years.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until this year that they got back. And so they had said, we'd love to draft something. So let's continue to talk about what we could do when our time comes to be able to do that. So they actually are working towards some state laws right now as well. So we were really excited about that. But then in March, Senator Cruz's office reached out. And we're like, we got your message. We want to hear your story. So that's when I shared our complete story with them. And they said the senator wants to try to draft a bill that would help.
And one of the key things that I remember is, and why they call it the Take It Down Act, is because you tried to get the social media platforms to take down this video, and they didn't, right? They wouldn't, right? Mm-hmm. What was the explanation?
You wanna?
Well, Snapchat and big social media accounts don't really listen to their users. When it comes to Taylor Swift, who had a deepfake of her that went all around Twitter and social media, Taylor Swift's team is super powerful, and she's one of the most popular people in the world. So when she was able to get that down instantly, but as a normal person from Texas, a normal teenager, they're not going to have any urgency to listen to our needs. So it was really hard when we tried to get in contact with them in order to get my photos down. They were on Snapchat for 9 months, just floating around.
9 months.
9 months. So it was honestly the worst 9 months of my life. I was terrified that they would respawn, that someone could easily go on their phone and pull them up. And honestly, someone could still do that today. But the fact that Senator Ted Cruz, he was able to get my images down immediately. His office got in contact with Snapchat the second he heard that they were still on social media, and he was able to get them down. So that was a breath of fresh air, especially because I'm still in high school. I was still terrified that they could resurface, and I was really scared. But
here we are. You just had the bill signing. It's in federal law now. The state, I guess, is working on this. And so, but you're not done with this issue. Mm-mm. So tell us what it is that your next goal is for all this.
Well, my mom, she's really an advocate, and she's really pushed me in order to get my voice out there and really encouraged me to continue sharing. So when we finally had a lot of movement and awareness being brought, my mom still was like, this is not enough. We have to continue. We have to make sure that this is a guaranteed stopping. So one of the biggest things my mom really wanted to focus on and wanted to dive deeper in was AI curriculum in schools, because my school didn't know what to do, and no one in the area knew what to do. This situation is so foreign. No one knows how to deal with AI nudes. No one knows how to combat that or create punishment or even classify it as child pornography. So it was really hard when we had to deal with that. I mean, no one knew what to do. So one thing my mom's been really urging for, we've been working with, his name is Evan Harris, and he's
an AI guy who his heart is to do this AI training as well. So he has developed it for private schools, and so we kind of got together, and I was like, we need it for the public sector as well. So it's up and going and almost ready to do that in the private school arena, and then I think we're going to hopefully just bounce that to the public school. But it'll provide curriculum on what to do when it happens, how to prevent it if it does happen, what laws are out there, what kind of mental health provisions could be made, because this is really hard. We've had a lot of kids come to us and parents call having the same situation and their kids want to commit suicide. And so it's the mental side of it is so huge that it has to be addressed somehow. And so my goal is hopefully at the federal level to get it where every school district, private schools as well, will have to do this curriculum so that we can protect our kids. To me, this was a subject that wasn't really talked about when it happened with Elliston. And so now I feel like bringing awareness is going to open up people's eyes to what's going on and then protect our kids even more because we're aware of it.
And what do you say to those who say, look, that there's so much that still has to be learned in school between history and math and English and the basics, and now you want to bring this on? What do you say to those folks who say, we should just focus on the basics?
Well, you can't really focus on the basics if you're scared to go to school. And so my thought in all of that is if we provide an environment that's safe and they don't have to worry, they're going to be able to attack their, what all their classes are, what they're doing. They're going to feel safe and secure to do that.
And how did you stay strong through all this? I mean, take us through that. Obviously you had your parents here to lean on, but during the day you're at school and you've got your friends, etc. But as we discussed, this is still very tough stuff to have to deal with.
Well, to be honest, it was really hard. I mean, I didn't want to leave my bedroom. My academics suffered. I didn't want to go to volleyball practice, and it was really hard, especially because a lot of people relied on me, and I feel like I wasn't able to meet up to their standards. So that whole week, I didn't go to school. I was way too fearful, and he didn't get caught until that Friday. So from Monday to Friday, I was terrified for my life. And me and all of my friends, we didn't want to attend school, but it was mandatory. The school had said, no, the girls are okay to go to school. They're fine. It's okay, and made us seem like we were overreacting. So that Friday when he was caught, I kind of felt relief almost. I mean, at least we don't know the identity, but at least the school has had some sort of movement or some sort of validation that they actually went to go and find the person that did this and actually have a little bit of accountability. So having that was really encouraging. And as the school year went on, I'm really big on my friends and my community, and although the situation is so isolating, I felt really reassured knowing that I had people in my vicinity that went through something similar. And I didn't feel as alone, but it's really unfortunate. There's cases all around the world where people are alone in this. So I'm very fortunate to have my friends involved, as we all were there for each other and we grew relationships and it strengthened our friendships. But I'm also really big in my faith, so I kind of realized that this situation had a purpose, and at the time I didn't know what was going on, but I knew that there was something bigger involved. So every Wednesday night and every Sunday I'd go to church, and I really used this time of isolation and used this time of darkness to really reflect and grow my relationship with the Lord.
So what is your message to other students who may be going through this?
My message would just to be that conversations matter, and that it is important to talk and to spread awareness. There's so many cases around the world where people are isolated and they commit suicide, which is the worst case scenario. The fact that people are losing their lives over the situation is absolutely heartbreaking, and my heart goes out to all the families, everyone that is involved, because we shouldn't have to we shouldn't have to deal with that. So talking about it and telling someone is so important, because it's such a mental game, and it's so hard on you mentally. So communicating with others and having that open conversation, telling others what is going on, is so important and so critical.
And you were 14 at the time, a freshman, as you said. You're 15, 16?
I just turned 16 last month.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
So just in all of your experiences with, dealing with this trouble, right? But going up to Capitol Hill, testifying before committees, being in the Capitol during the State of the Union, being at the White House during the signing of the bill, you've really had a civics lesson in how government works.
Mm-hmm.
What did you make of that?
I mean, it's truly been an experience, but one of the things that's really stuck out to me is that the support on this bill is bipartisan, which I didn't know what that meant, but now that I'm introduced to the whole Congress and bills and everything of that sort, it's been really eye-opening, the fact that we have Democrats and Republicans agreeing on this matter. So having that bipartisan support is just so validating, especially because this bill is really protecting America's children. It's protecting the people. And being in the State of the Union and being around all these people that are extremely important, and seeing the amount of people that are supporting this and have a heart for this, it really is so validating and so rewarding, because the First Lady said at the bill signing, people over politics, and that's really stuck with me, because I feel like that message is getting lost, especially at the State of the Union, but I feel like that really is so important, and it's so crucial, especially to the rise of technology and how it's getting out of hand. So having this Take It Down bill and having curriculum that we are working on, having people that have a heart for this matter and have a heart for protecting America's children is so important.
And Anna, let me just ask you, as a mom, you're experiencing this on your own level. You're experiencing it through your daughter's eyes. And then, just as a mom, watching her now and listening to her, what goes through your mind, just because it just seems like she's really grown up really fast?
Yeah, she's kind of had to. I'm super proud of her. I've tried since she was little to let her see that she has a voice, to really make that an important part of our life, so that she never feels like someone's not listening. And I think this whole situation has just shown her that she has a very powerful voice, even at 16, where it can take her. And so for her in her future, she knows now that, I can get something done. I can work hard, and I can try to get somebody to listen. And I won't give up. I won't give up.
Any final thoughts from both of you, just on this whole experience?
I just want to tell people there's hope. So many people don't really realize that there can be something done. So we're just excited that this bill is in place now, and we've got some protections, and that we can kind of move forward now with curriculum to help even more.
Mm-hmm. And I honestly would just like to back that up. I mean, like I said, people are committing suicide over this matter, but hope and justice will be served, and the bill being signed is just a first step. I mean, there's so much more to come, but now that we have that handbook, and now that we have that in law, schools and local police departments, they're able to go back to that and have that protection, because it not only goes over AI, but non-consensual images that are being posted. So that is rising, and people are being targeted day after day, and it's really important to me that people know and they understand that they have a voice. And just as my mom has said, she's always taught me that my voice matters. So that's also something that I would also like to encourage others, that other people's voice matters, and really to know that there's hope in everything.
Elliston Berry and Anna McAdams, thank you both so much. We appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Thank you.